In the gametogenesis, the spermatogenesis is one of the type of gametogenesis. In that where the human males are going to produce the sperms, and we know where the exactly sperms are going to be produced. Just tell me exactly where or which cell is going to give rise to a sperm. Exactly where and which cell is going to produce a sperm. That is what? A germ cell. Yes, in the seminiferous tubules there is a germ cell. That germ cell is going to produce, yes, very good, a sperm, right? So in the same way, exactly in the females also, there is a cell that is going to develop as an egg. But here you can observe in the image, you can observe the difference. The male gamete or the sperm can move. The sperm can move. It is a motile one, but whereas the female egg is not a motile, it is an immotile one. Okay, as a germ cell is going to produce the sperm, here also the primary follicles are going to develop as a egg. What are the primary follicles, or where we can observe the primary follicles in the female reproductive system? Where we can observe the primary follicles in the female reproductive system? Tell me. Yes, come on. Where we can observe the female reproductive, primary follicles. Yes, Prathamesh, very good. And still, anyone in the class? Only Prathamesh is answering. Do you remember the structure of ovary? Yes, in the structure of ovary. Yes, oh, very good. In the structure of ovary, there are cells called a primary follicles, right? These primary follicles later develop as a secondary oocyte, and that secondary oocyte is going to develop as an egg, right? So the germ cell is going to develop as a sperm in the males, whereas the secondary oocyte is going to develop as the egg in the females. Okay, now let us move to the topic quickly without wasting time. So this question, sperm have several components, and we have also known the answer. See, I'm directly moving to the oogenesis. Tell me, what is the oogenesis? What is oogenesis? Oogenesis is the process of synthesis of egg or the production of egg. Synthesis of egg or the production or the formation of egg. That is what called the oogenesis. And next, where it happens? Where does the oogenesis happens? Exactly where? Okay, exactly where? Yes, in the ovary. Where does the oogenesis happens? In the ovary. That is the primary follicle present in the ovary is going to develop as the egg, right? And when it starts? When it starts? Very good, Rashmi. You are one step ahead. Puberty. At the puberty, the oogenesis starts in the females. What is the function of oogenesis? What is the function of oogenesis? Production of egg. Yes, Bhumika, correct. Produces egg. Okay, this is about the oogenesis. And one more thing I would like to mention here. So exactly at which stage? Yes, exactly at which stage the primary follicle starts to develop? Can anyone tell me? And we know that in the males, what happens? The testes descends into the scrotal pouch at the 7th month of the embryonic stage. At the 7th month of the embryonic stage, the testis descends into the scrotal pouch. But at the puberty only, the sperms are going to be formed. But what about the oogenesis? I mean, what about the formation of follicle? Yes, primary follicles, few are saying a before menstrual cycle. Yes, obviously before menstrual cycle, the primary follicles will form. And exactly in the embryonic stage. Yes, Manvita is saying that at the embryonic stage. Wait 1 minute. Is there a... How many students in the class? Let me just check once. Prathamesh, are you clearing with the things? Kuldeep, yes, Kuldeep and Prathamesh. I just want to know. Because no one are having any issues, but only if few people are having issue. So if you don't clear with the topics, or if you are having any doubts, just ask me. Yes, I'm answering, I guess. Yes, Prathamesh and Kuldeep. Aditya, yes, very good. No, for what, Prathamesh? Yes, do you guys have any doubts? Yes, you too. No doubt from Prathamesh. Okay. Just ask me. No problem. Okay. See, at which stage the oogenesis has, not the oogenesis, exactly at a which stage these primary follicles are going to form. See, let me tell you, when the female baby in her fetal stage or in her embryonic stage itself, at the first month of fetus, okay, not after the coming out from the womb. I'm saying that first month of the fetus inside the mother's womb. Okay, female fetus, first month. Fetus, first month, it is going to have a 17,000 of the primary follicles. 1700, sorry, 000. 1,700, not this. 1,700 primary follicles will be present in the fetus whenever it starts to develop at the first month of development itself. Yes, good afternoon, Akbar. Primary follicles. Praneeth. Fetus means womb. Womb is a uterus. Okay, Praneeth. Womb is a uterus. Inside the womb, the baby which attaches to the womb, right? Or which attaches to the uterus, right? That is what called the fetus. Or the developing embryo is a fetus, not the womb. Womb is a uterus which carries the baby. Okay. Fetus. At the first month of the developing baby inside the mother womb contains 1,700 follicles, and whereas in the second month, this baby is going to have, which means the primary follicles starts to divide and forms a 6 lakhs of the primary follicles. 6 lakhs of primary follicles will be there at the second month of the fetus. And next comes the 5th month. At the 5th month, what happens? 7 million 7 million primary follicles will be present. 7 million primary follicles will get formed. 7 million primary follicles. So finally, first month, second month, and the 5th month, at the end of the 5th month of a development of baby inside the mother womb. 1 minute, can I join this class for today, as I was facing a network problem when you were teaching last class? Yes, Akbar, no problem. So Akbar, you belongs to 3rd batch or 4th batch? Okay, no problem. You can join, no issue at all. Okay. And you were having a physics or chemistry class, right? What about that? What about that, class? Okay. See, at the 5th month, 7 million primary follicles will be there. After this, what happens? There is a process called atresia. There is a process called atresia. This atresia means what? The primary follicle starts to condense. The primary follicle starts to condense in the number. So after condensing, at the birth, at the time of birth, the female baby is going to contain only the, yes, 2 million primary follicles. At the time of birth, the baby is going to contain only 2 million primary follicles. 2 million primary follicles, right? After this, but these primary follicles are not functional yet, because these primary follicles are going to be functional and they synthesize, I mean, they convert as an egg only at the puberty. But this atresia continues after the birth also. Finally, when the girl matures or when the girl enters in her puberty age, at puberty, the atresia continues, and finally there will be a 60,000 to 80,000 of primary follicles in one ovary. In one ovary, there will be a 60,000 to 80,000 of the primary follicles in a one ovary contains. Understand? Is this clear to everyone? So, if the fetus present in the mother's womb, that fetus at a 1 month contains 1,700 primary follicles. At the second month, they divide and gives us 6 lakhs of primary follicles. And at the 5th month, there are finally 7 million of the primary follicles. And at the during a birth, because of the atresia, what happens? There are only 2 million primary follicles. But this atresia continues towards the, 1 minute. This atresia continues towards, I mean, till the puberty. Then what happens? There are finally one ovary contains 60,000 to the 80,000 of the primary follicles. So out of 60,000, 80,000, we'll take a 500. Okay, one primary follicle out of 500, 1 in 500 is going to be functional. Remaining will be becoming a non-functional or the becoming a accessory cells. Okay, if you consider the 500 primary follicles in a one ovary at a 1 month, then what happens? Yes, they may ask you. We should not take a chance, right, Kiran? Okay, so if there are 500 sperms, if there are 500 primary follicles, out of 500 primary follicles, what happens? Only one become a functional. In the next month of the development of egg, what happens? Again, there are 500. Out of 500, one become a functional, 499 will become degenerate, approximately 500. Okay. If we consider approximately 500 for primary follicles, only one become a functional. And you know, one more thing, one healthy female can give rise to a 30, I mean, she can give rise to a birth of 35 babies. Yes, Prathamesh. Yes, Prathamesh, yes. And somebody asked me a question. Can you guys ask me again? I lost the question. Okay, understood this? Oogenesis. So you can observe here, oogenesis is not the continuous process, right? So as it starts at the first month and at the birth, and then fifth month and birth and at the puberty. So it is not the continuous at all. It is a discontinuous process. Oogenesis is the discontinuous process. Discontinuous process. Okay. Why the primary follicles are going to be processed atresia, or why they decrease? Because so the primary follicles has to undergo so many changes when the female enters into the puberty. So to have that capacity, the changes start from here itself. Okay. Next, the phases of oogenesis. What are all the phases of the oogenesis is that? So before going to that, just tell me what are the 2 steps in spermatogenesis? What are the 2 steps in spermatogenesis? Yes, spermatocytosis and spermiogenesis. Okay. Very good. Oh, not Dhanama, just check with the spelling. Spermatocytosis and spermiogenesis. There are the 2 steps. But here, why the non-motile spermatid is going to convert as a motile sperm? That is what called as spermiogenesis, right? But here, the egg is itself a non-motile. So it is not involved in a 2 steps. The complete oogenesis complete oogenesis is a 1 step, but having 3 phases. That's it. So, and yesterday, in a spermatocytosis, we have seen a multiplication phase, growth phase, maturation phase. The exactly same thing happens here. Right, understood? So what happens in the multiplication phase? What happens in the multiplication phase? First, before that, oh, not a mitosis of egg. Okay, mitosis takes place. That is the first thing we know. Mitosis. Okay, and which cell undergoes the mitosis here? Tell me which cell undergoes the mitosis. There is a one cell which undergoes the mitosis. What is that cell? Let me see who will tell the answer. I'm just waiting. Who will tell the answer? Very good, Prathamesh. No, Pranit, no, Manvita. Harsh, how the sperm cell comes here? No, Aditya. No, only Prathamesh told the answer. Very good. So, no, that is a primary follicle. So far, what I have explained you, the primary follicle finally, yes, Ananya, very good. The primary follicle finally gives us the egg. So first, primary follicle has to undergo some changes. That is, a primary follicle undergoes the multiplication phase, growth phase, maturation phase. Finally, egg will come out, right? How can you say the germ cell, sperm, everything comes in the male reproductive system, not in the female reproductive system, remember, okay? So first is that what? The primary follicle. Let me take another color and let me write so that they're easily, I was not getting the definite term. Means what? I didn't get you, Harsh. Where you're not getting, just tell me. This is the primary follicle. See, don't get confused, Harsh. Multiplication phase is that whatever may be the cell, if that cell undergoes the multiplication phase, that cell has to divide mitotically. In the males, what happens? Germ cell undergoes the mitosis and gives us the spermatogonia. Whereas in the females, the primary follicle undergoes the multiplication phase and gives us what? Oogonia. That's it. Understand? So primary follicle undergoes the multiplication phase and gives the oogonia. Harsh, if you got any doubts, just ask me, no? What do you want me to explain exactly? See, this undergoes the multiplication phase, that is a mitosis, and forms a oogonia. And what is a ploidy of primary follicle? No, now it's clear. Okay, very good. What is a ploidy of primary follicle? Very good, Akbar. Yes, Nishchita, very good. So, yesterday only I told you, yes, Pranit, yesterday I told you, except the gametes, every cell in the human is a diploid. So here, except egg and sperm, everything is a diploid. So primary follicle is also diploid. And this undergoes the mitotic cell division. Mitotic cell division is an equational cell division. There is no reduction in the chromosomal number. So this is also the diploid one. Do you agree? Next, what happens? This oogonia undergoes the growth phase. This oogonia undergoes the growth phase. Growth, if it undergoes the growth phase, what happens? It is going to accumulate the nutrients. It is going to accumulate the nutrients and it increases its size. Yes, Om. Yes, if there is a mitosis, there are so many cells, but we are considering only one oogonia for our better understanding. That's it. Okay. What happens in the growth phase? The cell increases its size and there is no any division here. So the diploid as it is will be the diploid. The diploid as it is will be the diploid. And now this is called as what? Can anyone tell me? After the growth phase, the product comes is called as what? In the spermatogenesis, this is called as no manvita. This is not an egg. In the spermatogenesis, it is called as a primary spermatocyte. No, Pranit. But whereas in the oogenesis, very good, Ankita. Very good, Kiran. No, Kiran, no, Gauri. Manvita, no, Nishchita, yes, correct. Anyone? Danama, yes, correct, very good. Yes. Okay, this is what called as, yes, Prathamesh, oocyte, but that is exactly the primary oocyte, not the oogenesis, not the oogenesis, oocyte. Okay, this is the primary oocyte. Okay, now what happens? By this, we have completed the growth phase. Next, this primary oocyte undergoes the maturation phase. What happens in the maturation phase? What kind of cell division takes place here? Tell me, what kind of cell division takes place here in the maturation phase? Very good. That is what? Yes, Akbar. Very good. That is what? The meiosis. So meiosis is a reductional cell division where finally we are going to get the haploid cells. But how many haploid cells or how many functional haploid cells are there? We'll see now. And meiosis is a how many step? Yes, how many steps are there in the meiosis cell division? How many steps are present in the meiosis cell division? Yes, 2 steps. That is a meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Right. Now let us see if this primary oocyte undergoes the meiosis 1. If the primary oocyte undergoes the meiosis 1, we are going to get the 2 cells because this is the first step in the meiosis, and those 2 cells are going to get half of the chromosomal number. The nucleus is going to divide exactly half. So this is a haploid, this is a haploid. But the cytoplasm, do you know the cell division? First, nucleus is going to divide. After that, the cytoplasm is going to divide, karyokinesis and then cytokinesis. Do you remember? Do you guys remember karyokinesis and then cytokinesis? Yes, you remember, right? So here first karyokinesis is done already. What about the cytokinesis? Out of these 2 cells, one cell is going to get a more cytoplasm. Okay, one cell is going to get more cytoplasm, whereas another cell is going to get a very less cytoplasm. Why it is happening, so I'll explain you. But before that, you need to know the primary oocyte, which is the diploid, undergoes the first maturation phase or the meiosis 1, gives us the two cells. One is a larger cell and another one is a smaller cell. Both are haploid. Okay. So what they are called as? The larger haploid cell is called as, anyone in the class? Can anyone tell me what is this? Yes. Anyone in the class? What is this called? Yes, very good, Akbar. And anyone? Nishchita, super. Ankita, yes. The primary oocyte divides and gives us, yes, Kiran, Aditya, gives us the large cell, large haploid cell. That is what called secondary oocyte. And there is a smaller haploid cell, that is what called the polar body. Okay, this is the polar body, but we are giving a number for this. That is what? The first polar body or the primary polar body. Okay, this is what? The first polar body. Yes, this is the first polar body. And then what happens? See, this is a meiosis, right? Meiosis means, yes, it should be divided again. This secondary oocyte divides again. And yes, this secondary oocyte also going to give a larger cytoplasm to one cell and smaller cytoplasm to another cell. This polar body is also going to divide. Anyhow, it is having very small cytoplasm. It is going to give a two daughter cells which are very small. Okay, now this larger cell arised from the secondary oocyte is called as, very good, that is what called as the egg or ovum, not a tertiary oocyte. Egg or the ovum or the oocyte. Okay, and these are called as the second polar bodies. And what is a what is a ploidy of the second polar bodies and the egg? Yes, Akbar, very good. Yes, these are all the haploid. Let me write this. These are all haploid. Is this clear to everyone? So let me explain you again. Once again, see the primary follicle which is present in the ovary. So let me draw the structure of ovary so that you will understand very clearly. See, this is the structure of ovary, right? This is a structure of ovary. This ovary is having so many primary follicles. So as I told you, approximately 500 primary follicles are going to involve. Out of these, one will becoming a, see, out of this one will become a larger, like one will undergoes the multiplication phase called a oogonia. Let me write that. And all the remaining primary follicles will just stay surrounding to it. And then it increases its size because it undergo the growth phase called as the primary oocyte. The remaining primary follicles will stay as it is, and then it convert as a Graafian follicle. So Graafian follicle, in the middle of the Graafian follicle, what exactly is present? In the middle of the Graafian follicle, what exactly is present? I have also given you the diagram. I have written the diagram also. Yes, Nishchita, very good. No, not Rashmi, not Gauri. It is not egg or carpus luteum. Yes, Dhanama, very good. See, this is a secondary oocyte. Next stage. This is also surrounded by some of the follicular cells. And surrounding to that, there are remaining follicular cells. Right, surrounding to that, there are remaining follicular cells. This is called as the Graafian follicle, right? Understood till here. So secondary oocyte is formed. Then what happens? This Graafian follicle ruptures and releases the secondary oocyte, where it is also surrounded by the primary follicles again. Understand this till here? Do you understand? So now what happens? It is going to be released, and there is a duct which carries the oviduct, oviduct or fallopian tube, which carries this into the uterus, right? Which carries this into the uterus, right? But when this secondary oocyte is going to convert as an egg, that is what the question. Okay, actually, if the female is, if there is no copulation, or if the sperms are not entering into the, let me draw, see if there is a vagina here, okay, as there is no space, I'm just writing all the things here. So if there is a vagina here, then what happens? If the sperms entering into this, if the sperms are entered into the vagina, or if the sperms enter into the female reproductive system, these sperms are the entry of the sperms actually triggers the secondary oocyte to convert as the egg. So if the sperms are not entered, this secondary oocyte stay in the female reproductive system for 72 hours, and then it reaches and then it degenerates, and finally after 28 days, it comes out through the menstrual cycle. Understand? But if there is a entry of a sperm, then only this secondary oocyte is going to convert as the egg. If there is no sperm, then the secondary oocyte is arrested its division, is going to arrest its division there itself. Understand? Everybody understood? Or any doubts? Or anybody want me to explain this point again? Clear? Ananya, Praneeth, Danamma, Akbar again, okay. Understood, Praneeth. Very good. So, Akbar, do you want me to explain again? Okay, see, what happens here, secondary oocyte is going to be released by this Graafian follicle. Okay, if you are able to remember this, that's why I have mentioned the note that you have to remember or you have to read the structure of ovary. Why I have mentioned is that because of this. Okay, this Graafian follicle, label the diagram. I'm going to erase this diagram. How many times I need to do this, right? I'll just erase this. I need to write a point here. For now, I can label this. This is the primary follicle. Yes, the ovary itself I'm going to erase. This is not a primary follicle. This is a Graafian follicle. This is a Graafian follicle. And this is the primary follicle. Primary follicle. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. Okay, primary follicle, Graafian follicle, and then this is the oogonia. Oogonia, and this is the primary oocyte. And this is the secondary oocyte. Okay. So now what happens normally in the females, if any female who is not involved in the copulation, who is not involved in the, in the copulation, say if she is not involved in the copulation, but the secondary oocyte has already formed and she is not involved in the copulation, then the sperm is not going to enter into the female reproductive system. Then this secondary oocyte is not going to convert as an egg. It will stay in the fallopian tube for the 3 days or for the 72 hours. After that, it is going to degenerate. But when as soon as this forms, as soon as the secondary oocyte forms, exactly it forms at a 14 day, not exactly, approximately 10 to 20 days. If the female is having, say, if the female is having her menses, or if the female is having her menstrual cycle, that having a 3 to 5 days of the bleeding time, right? So that 3 to 5 days, let us consider that a first, second, third, fourth, they like that, okay? At that time, the primary follicle starts to develop exactly by the middle of the cycle. Say if the female is having her next cycle exactly at a 28 days, then what happens if the female is having next cycle at 28 days? The secondary oocyte releases, or that is what called ovulation, right? So this ovulation happens at a 14th day. And after a 14th day, this secondary oocyte stay in the fallopian tube itself for 72 hours. Within that 72 hours, the sperm enters into the female reproductive system. Then only this secondary oocyte is getting a trigger by that sperm. Then it converts as an egg. If within those 3-4 days, the sperm does not enter, then the secondary oocyte will get degenerate, and that will come out after 28 days. That will come out along with the endometrium wall. If the sperm enters, then the secondary oocyte get converts as an egg, and the sperm fertilizes the egg, and the female becomes a pregnant. Now you understand. A few people asked me to explain again. Now you guys understood. Yes or no in the chat box quickly. Kshita is saying yes. Akbar is saying clear. Okay, very good. Okay, exactly at which stage this is going to be ceased? Exactly at which stage? Okay. Let me write about this. Erasing this is a big problem. Okay. Yes. So at exactly which stage this secondary oocyte stops its division, or at which stage the cell division arrested in a oogenesis? That is what important question. Okay. Do you remember the meiosis stages? Do you guys remember the meiosis stages? Yes. Do you remember or not? No one are saying yes. Oh God. At least do you remember the names like diplotin, pachytin, zygotin? Yes, yes, yes. Akbar. Yes, those are comes in a prophase, right, Kiran? Very good. So this oogenesis is going to arrested in the diplotin stage. Diplotin stage of prophase 1. Of prophase 1 of meiosis 1. Okay, this is the important thing you need to remember. Understand? Yes, if everything is clear, click on yes. If everything is clear, click on yes. Next, we'll move to the structure of egg. Only 6 students have clicked on yes. What about others? Kiran, last point. Okay. See, the secondary oocyte is not going to divide if there is no sperm. The secondary oocyte is not going to divide if there is no sperm. So it is not going to divide. Okay, we agree. But at which stage it is going to stop its division? It is going to stop its division at a diplotin stage itself. At a diplotin stage, The secondary oocyte is not going to divide. Once the sperm enters within the time, then only the diplotin stage next continues, and finally 4 daughter cells will come, and out of the 4 daughter cells, 1 is a egg. And one more thing, I told you that why exactly this happens, I'll tell you, right? If, see, the females require only 1 egg. If there are 4 eggs forms, what happens? Just imagine. In the males, 4 sperms will form. Okay, that's fine. But in the oogenesis also, if there are 4 eggs formed, if there are 4 eggs formed, what happens? The 4 eggs are going to be fertilized, and 1 female has to carry 4 children. Is that so easy? No, not at all, right? And yes, that's hard. So, but actually the female has to produce only 1 egg. That is why, see, here after primary oocyte that divides and gives only maximum amount of cytoplasm to the secondary oocyte. If the cytoplasm divides equally, the polar body is going to get a half of the cytoplasm, and secondary oocyte is also going to get a half of the cytoplasm. But the polar body is of no use, then the cytoplasm is going to be wasted. That is why the cytoplasm is going to divide unequally. Even here also, formation of egg also, the same reason. Okay, next, see the oogenesis. First is a maturation phase. Let me write the phases here. Yes. So this is what, how twins are formed. Okay, Aditya, can we discuss about this at the end? This is what first oogonium formed, called as the multiplication phase. Multiplication phase. After this, it undergoes the growth phase, forms a primary oocyte. Growth phase. And finally, this primary oocyte undergoes the what? Maturation phase. Maturation phase forms a egg. Okay. Next is that structure of a human egg. What is the exact structure of human egg? And human egg is a haploid, and we all know that whether the cell is animal cell is a haploid or diploid, it should contain the membrane. It is not going to contain the Shubham, what you are doing? Okay, it is not going to contain any of yes, what I can say, cell wall, right? If that is a human cell or the animal cell, it is not going to contain the cell wall. It is going to contain the plasma membrane, right? Do you agree? Yes, this also have, this cell is also contains the plasma membrane. Let me draw the plasma membrane first. This is what? The plasma membrane, and the plasma membrane can also called as vitelline membrane. Here you can see the plasma membrane is also called as a vitelline membrane. And we know that this secondary oocyte or the egg is surrounded by many number of what? Primary follicles. Yes or no? This is surrounded by so many primary follicles or the layer of primary follicles. Do you remember? Yes. So those primary follicles forms a corona radiata. The primary follicles form a layer called corona radiata, and these primary follicles secretes. The secretion of the primary follicle also form another layer called a zona pellucida. Understand? See, let me draw. Yes, let me draw the vitelline membrane, and around the vitelline membrane there is a non-cellular secretory layer called as what? Zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is a layer which is secreted by follicular cells. Zona pellucida. Okay. And around the zona pellucida, there are so many primary follicles. There are so many primary follicles present. I told you out of 500, only one is going to develop as an egg. Yes, this has become an egg. And the remaining ones are forming a layer called as the corona radiata. Like this. See, like this, the complete is going to have this. Let me write this as the corona radiata. So now you understood. If you imagine the structure of the ovary, if you imagine the cross section of the ovary, there you can observe. Yes, yes, Prathamesh. There you can observe that one cell is going to develop as an egg, and the remaining all the primary follicles will stay all around the egg. So all those are called as a corona radiata. All cells form a layer. That layer is called a corona radiata, and this corona radiata secretes a non-cellular layer called a zona pellucida, and inside to that there is a plasma membrane. That plasma membrane is called as the vitelline membrane. And one more thing, if you consider this as a cell, the cell should contain what is the name as a virus corona? Why it is a name? Yes, Harsh, why? Because corona is name, not the virus name. Corona means a crown. Okay. And the corona is also having like, see, if you just observe the coronavirus, that is also having some crown-like structures on it, right? So exactly these primary follicles are also form just a crown-like structures on this human egg. That is why this layer is called as a corona radiata. Understand? Get it. Good. Then what happens? As we all know, this is a cell. Cell means cell should contain the jelly-like matrix inside it. What is that jelly-like matrix is called as? Cytoplasm. And also other cell organelles. Corona radiata is a layer of cell. Zona pellucida is a secretion of corona radiata. Okay. And the nucleus is also present inside it. Okay. And just observe the human egg carefully. What is the position of the nucleus in the human egg? What is the position of nucleus in the human egg? Is it centered? Inside, I know. Okay, Pranit. Inside the cell, yes, obviously the nucleus is going to present inside the cell. It cannot present outside the cell, right? Inside the cell, where? Little bit above the center. No, not perfect. It is not perfectly at the center. Right, around the nucleus. Yes. At the anterior side. Okay. Yes, top center. Yes, very good, but not exactly at the center. It is in the humans, the egg is not going to be present at the center. Okay. And yes, then where it present? Yes, just slightly near to the plasma membrane. It is going to be present near to the plasma membrane. Okay. So based on that, we have a two poles. The pole where the nucleus is near, that pole is called as a animal pole. Animal pole is that where the nucleus is near to the plasma membrane, and opposite to that is called as a vegetal pole. Vegetal pole. Okay. Why the nucleus is not at a center? It is presenting at the animal pole only because, see, the sperm has to enter into the vagina, and then it has to move towards the cervix, and then the uterus, and then the fallopian tube, and after that the ampulla. And after struggling, after having all these hurdles, finally it reaches to the egg. After reaching towards the egg also, that has to produce a sperm lysine, that is enzyme that has to, what happens again, ruptures the corona radiata, again it has to rupture the zona pellucida and then vitelline membrane, and then that sperm is going to release the nucleus into the egg. So if that is in a center, it has to move again so far. That is why this is present slightly near to the plasma membrane. Then this will be easy. Site of nucleus, just near to the plasma membrane, Pranit. Where the, at which pole the exactly the nucleus is near, that is called animal pole. The opposite one is that vegetal pole. Okay, understood. For the easy fusion, the nucleus is present just near to the plasma membrane. That is a position of nucleus, that's it. Understood this structure of human egg? Okay, just have a look. I'll be waiting for 1 minute. If you have got any doubts, ask me. Yes, plasma membrane and cell membrane both are same, Pranit. Okay, is that clear? If it is clear, click on yes. So far we have discussed what? Everything. Click on yes if it is clear. Yes, you can unclick now. Unclick everyone. Okay, pre-vitelline space is just a space present between the layers. Okay, between the plasma membrane and the zona pellucida, there is a space called a pre-vitelline space. Yes, I forgot to mention. Okay, pre-vitelline space is that the space which is present between the plasma membrane or the vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida. Okay, now we are moving to the types of an egg. Let me write the names first. One is the microlecithal. Second one is the mesolecithal. And the third one is the macrolecithal egg. Okay. Yes. So lecithal means what? Lecithal means what? Any idea? Not the types of human egg, I'm saying types of eggs generally. Not in the humans, okay? This lecithal means what? Any idea? Lecithal means what? Yes or no? Do you know? If you know, say yes. If you don't know, say no. Don't know. Yes, polar body gets degenerate. Okay. Lecithal is a yolk. Lecithal means what? Lecithal is a yolk. There are so many eggs we can see in the nature. Humans also produces the eggs, and frogs also produces the eggs, reptiles, birds, everything produces the eggs, right? So microlecithal means if there is a very, very less amount of yolk, very, very less yolk, that is what called microlecithal egg. Example for a very, very less amount of yolk is that humans. Humans are going to have a very, very less amount of yolk. Human egg contains very less amount of yolk. What is the reason to contain a very less amount of yolk? Or let me complete this and we'll discuss. Okay. And mesolecithal, moderate amount of yolk. Moderate amount of, moderate amount of yolk. Moderate amount of yolk. Yolk, what is yolk? Wait, I'll tell you. Example is a frog, and macrolecithal is a high amount of yolk. High amount of yolk. The best example is that birds and reptiles. Yes, birds and reptiles. So what is a yolk? If you take a hen egg, okay, yes, egg of a hen, then boil it. If you just take a egg of a hen and boil it, then you can observe three things there. One is that outer white part that is completely made up of proteins, and inside to that yellow colored one. Yes, who asked me? Aditya. Inside to that yellow colored one is there, right? That is what yolk. Okay, boiled egg or the normal egg, you can easily observe the yolk. Clear, Aditya? Is it clear? Yes. But if you just take a boiled egg and there you can observe a point, a small dot in the yellow color one. Yes, anybody observed that? Anybody observed a small dot in that? Yes, what is that? What is that dot? What is that dot? In the yolk. In the yolk, there is a dot. What is that? That is the embryo. That is what? Pranita, I'll come to that point. Just give me a minute. Yes, that is what, Kiran, very good. Embryo. So if this is an egg, this is an egg, all the white color, and in middle there is a yellow color, and here is a dot. This dot, what you can observe in a boiled egg, that is what the embryo, and this yellow colored one is a food material for that developing embryo. Okay, this is a food material for that developing embryo. So why humans have very, very less yolk? Why? Because humans develop their offspring inside the womb itself. Humans develop their offspring inside the womb, and they can directly provide the food with the help of placenta. Yes, with the help of placenta, they can directly provide the food. There is no, because it is a small cell having a less yolk, that is not the reason. Humans develops their baby, especially humans are the viviparous. That is why they do not require a yolk. They can directly transfer the food with the help of placenta. That is why the humans contains a microlecithal egg, whereas a mesolecithal egg contained by a frog. Yes, frogs lay egg because the baby frogs cannot grow inside the womb of a mother frog, right? But why do they have only? Yes, all viviparous have a microlecithal egg, Akbar. Why do these frogs contain only moderate amount? Is that enough? The question is that, but what is the development in frog, whether it is a direct development or indirect development? No, Aditya, that is not correct. What is the direct development, or what is the development, direct or indirect? Yes, indirect development, which means the larva is going to be present, right? Which means, yes, egg is going to develop as a larva. It is not going to develop as an individual. That is why to develop as a larva, moderate amount of yolk is enough. After that, this larva is going to have a food outside the, in the environment and develop as a young one. That is why the frogs and other animals which have an indirect development, they do have a moderate amount of yolk, or they do contain a mesolecithal egg. Whereas the birds and reptiles, you can observe, if the bird hatches, the directly young one comes out, the larva will not come out. Yes, do you know that? Do you know that? Directly the young one will come out, not the larva. That is why that egg, and one more thing, that egg, the development is not taking place inside the parent body. The development is taking outside the parent body, and also the complete development will take place in the egg itself. That is why they have high amount of yolk. That yolk is itself giving the food to that developing embryo till it developing as the young one, which means here the egg directly develops as the young one. This is a direct development. That is why these eggs should require high amount of yolk. Understand? Understand? Yes or no? Click on yes or no. Okay. People are unclicking, right? Okay. And one more thing I forgot to tell here is that the egg, or normally in the eggs, there are 3 types of layers. What is your question, Pranit? Pranit, can you ask me the question again? Okay. Yes. I got the point. Wait. So when we boil the egg, that becomes a hard. Actually, the egg is a liquid, but it becomes a hard. Why? Why? Because do you remember the biomolecules chapter? Do you remember the biomolecules chapter? There I told you one point that if we heat the proteins, they get denatured and we cannot arrange them back again. No, Pranit, why? You didn't attend my class. Okay, if we just boil or if we just heat the proteins, then what happens? The proteins get denatured. Exactly, the egg is also containing the proteins. If we just boil the egg, because of the temperature, all the proteins in that egg are going to be degenerated and they become a hardened. And you cannot get back the liquid one again. Yes, that is a property of a protein. See, biology is not just a reading, or biology is not just a by hearting. Okay, the biology is that you need to understand the things in your daily life. So if you remember this point, proteins get denatured when we heat that. If you just understand that point, and if you also remember that egg contains a proteins, then that will be easy, right? Yes, egg contains a proteins and the proteins will get denatured if we heat that. That's why the boiled egg will become a hard egg. Yes, easy, right? How lively it is. See? Yes or no? So I hope from now you guys are going to study like this. Just read the biology like this and you're not going to forget the points at all. Okay. Yes, what I was about to tell is that, so types of eggs based on what? Based on amount of yolk. Based on amount of yolk. Yes. And one more thing here is that there are layers in the egg, right? So the plasma membrane is considered as a primary layer, and the layer which is formed by the primary follicles and the layer which is a secretion of a primary follicle are considered as a secondary layers or secondary membranes. And the third layer is that a shell, egg shell. that is that is formed by the glands, that is considered as a, sorry, primary, secondary, tertiary. Yes, that is considered as a tertiary membrane. The primary membrane is always comes a plasma membrane. Second one is that corona radiata and the zona pellucida. They both comes under a secondary membranes because they are formed by the follicular cells. The third one, or the tertiary layer or the tertiary membrane, is that what I can say, the tertiary one is that formed by the gland called the eggshell. Okay. So here is a question. The division of primary oocyte results in unequal cells, in that smaller haploid secondary oocyte, larger diploid polar body, or unequal cells, larger haploid secondary oocyte, no Sneha, and smaller haploid polar body. If primary oocyte divides, what it gives? Unequal cells, in that smaller diploid secondary oocyte and larger haploid polar body. Unequal cells, in that haploid secondary oocyte and a haploid polar body. Yes, super. Yes. I'm launching a poll here. Just quickly answer then the poll. No, Sanket, no. Oh, very good, very good. No, Mamata. Yes, Akbar Soumya. Meghana, yes. Praneeth, yes. Aditya, yes. No, Kiran. Yes, I'm ending the poll and look at the results. Nobody have clicked on yes, great. And 81% of the people have clicked on yes, only 10% each clicked on C and D. I'm stop sharing the results. See, if the primary oocyte, okay, if the primary oocyte divides, we are going to get one larger haploid secondary oocyte and the smaller haploid polar body, isn't it? So unequal cells, and in that larger haploid secondary oocyte and the smaller haploid polar body, easy. And in the male human beings, yes, the sperm contains autosomes, and along with the autosome, only one Y chromosome, only one X chromosome, both X and Y, either X or Y. No, Pranit, no, Mamta. Read carefully, read the options carefully. Divides and then get degenerates. No, Dhanamma. Oh, Harsh, yes. Means what? I didn't get you, Pratmesh. Akbar, yes. Mamata, you raised your hand. If you have doubt, ask me. No, Dhanamma, no, again, no. Yes, Akshata, Mamata, yes, correct. I'm ending the poll. No, Ananya, no, Soumya. Because they're continuing the generation and final product, everything will wash off at once. That's it, Pratmesh. See, nobody chose option B. Okay. 9% have chosen option A, 41 choose option C, and 50% choose option B. See, tell me one thing. if we consider a human being, what is the chromosome number? What is the chromosome number? Yes, 23 or 46? Yes, 46 is the chromosome number. But they are saying about the sperm. This is the 2N. They are saying about the sperm. Sperm is that is a N, which is having haploid, which means what is the chromosomal number in the sperm? 23. 23 is the chromosome number in the sperm. And one more thing, out of 46, 44 are the autosomes. Yes, do you agree? Out of 46, 44 are the autosomes, which means all the physical characters, except the sex characters, every character is controlled by all these autosomes or all these 44 chromosomes. And the remaining 2 chromosomes are the sex chromosomes. So everything should be equal, which means out of 23 also, 22 are the autosomes. Yes or no? 44, half, 22. Out of 23, 22 are the autosomes. And what about the one? What about this one? So if this one is allosome, yes. If we consider both X and Y, it should contain both. X and Y means this allosome should be a 2, right? X and Y. No, only one allosome will be present. So you can't choose this. And only one Y chromosome is present or only one X chromosome is present. No. 50% of the chromosomes contains a X and 50% sperms contain a Y chromosome. So either X or Y may be present in the sperm. Okay. Yes, the last topic is that comparison of a sperm and an ovum. I'll just read out the points. If you want to add more, you can add in the chat box and I'll read out that. Sperm is produced by the testes, produced from a puberty onwards. Puberty onwards, it is continuous process. Whereas the ovum is released by the ovaries, released from puberty till menopause. What do you mean by menopause? What do you mean by menopause? Stopping of a menstrual cycle. Okay, about this we are going to study on Monday. Stopping of menstrual cycle is called a menopause. It starts from a puberty and ends at the menopause. But whereas in the males, the sperm production starts at the puberty and it continues. The size of the sperm is that about 0.01 to 0.05 millimeter long. But the egg contains about 0.10 millimeter in diameter. The quantity of a sperms at a one ejaculation is a 500 million sperms. But whereas egg produces only one at a 1 month. The sperm have a capacity to move, whereas ovum don't have a capacity to move. And the homework, solve the module questions, write the difference between a spermatogenesis and oogenesis, read NCERT from the beginning till here, write the types of egg based on the distribution of yolk, and what is the cleidoic egg. Okay. Yes, thank you. Is everything clear? Yes. Do anyone have any doubts? I'm going to share you this. So yes, here is a poll and you can answer in the poll. Thank you. Actually, you don't have NCERT. Okay, Harsh, do one thing. You can get the NCERT PDF. Oh, Pranit. Okay, Aditya, I'll come to that. So Harsh, do one thing. That just go to the Chrome or the Google and there you can get the PDF of this. So how the twins are formed is that, see Akbar, if one female is going to produce 2 eggs at a time, if the one female produces 2 eggs, then what happens? those two eggs are fertilized, and she can 1 minute, Pranit, I'll come to that. Then she can produce a twins. That is a one, and those two twins are formed by two zygotes, right? Two eggs are formed, two eggs are fertilized, two zygotes are formed. So those twins are called a dizygotic twins, and those are non-identical twins. Yes, gender may be different or same, but whereas there is another chance, there is only one zygote formed. Okay, there is only one zygote is going to be formed, and that zygote divides into two, and those two cells which are divided by the zygote, they can develop individually, and they form a monozygotic twins. Monozygote from the single zygote. Okay, that's it. Monozygotic twins or identical twins. And always the identical twins are of having a same gender, either males or females. Yes, Praneeth, I am from Karnataka. Pranita, can one fertile egg divide? Yes, that's what monozygotic egg, Pranita. One fertile egg forms a zygote, and that zygote divides, splits into two, and they can individually develop. And that is a chance in some of the females, it can divide into 3, 4, 5, like that. Yes, any doubt still? Okay, by both ovaries releases egg the same time. Maybe. Pranit, from